There's over a billion custom jump shots that you can make in NBA 2K25. But if you want the best one, then you've came to the right place. Today, I'll be revealing the new best jump shots for every build in the game. It's been about 2 months since I posted one of these videos, and a lot of things have changed. I'm also going to be revealing my brand new shooting secrets that will have you shooting like Steph Curry instantly. This is the #1 ultimate shooting guide on all of YouTube. From settings to shooting tips and secrets to the best go-to shots, dribble pull-ups, and jump shots, this video has it all. It's time to play the sub game. If any of the following applies to you, then you have to subscribe. If you're wearing a blue shirt right now, you have to subscribe. If you have a build that has the name two-way in it, you have to subscribe. If your name starts with the letter B, F, J, or T, you have to subscribe. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, you have to subscribe. Also, I stream every night on Twitch, twitch.tv/solo_. I'll put a link in the description. Come through, drop a follow, and say what's good. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy because they are giving you guys a special offer. If you guys sign up with code SOLO, you will get this Steph Curry free pick. He only has to score 1 point for you to win. Once you're on Underdog, it's just higher or lower on player stats. The more picks that you get right, the more money you make. You guys can see I put $20 on these 8 picks, which return almost 3,000 if all of them were correct. They have every sport on here, even esports, and here are the fantasy drafts, which I personally like more than the pick'ems. If you guys are going to sign up again, make sure to use code SOLO so you get the Steph Curry free pick, and you'll also get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Sign up today, let's have some fun, but be sure to play responsibly. What's up, guys? It's Solo back with another video, and today I'm going to be turning you guys into way better shooters than you already are on 2K25. And if you're clicking on this video, you've probably been struggling with your shooting, or maybe you just want to get a little bit better. I got you guys. First things first, if you guys want to be shooting better, especially from 3, then you guys gotta make sure that you have your hot zones. Now, one way to look at this is if you go to the 2K phone and pull out your 2K card, press your left trigger over, you guys can see right here. I don't play on this player a lot, so obviously I don't have all my hot zones. I even have some cold zones, but the red zones are the hot zones and the purple zones are the lethal zones. These are the ones that you guys want to pay attention to. It is really hard to miss from these lethal zones, and how you guys can get these lethal zones is first, this is a little trick right here. Not a lot of people know about it, but if you go to settings, make sure that your game difficulty is on rookie. Then you want to go to the Art of Shooting facility, which is right here. It's located right here on the map. You guys walk inside here, and then you guys just want to walk up to this guy right here, and you guys can get your hot zones. Pick the one that says 3 zones. You just have to either tie him in a shooting drill or shoot better than him from each of the zones to get those lethal zones. But lock in, because if you mess up, you don't get the zone for like 3 weeks or whatever. Something else that I do if I want to get hot zones in, say, the middies or, you know, other zones that I don't have lethal zones in, is I will walk all the way back here. This is the dunes. You guys can see right here, there's like a street ball game going on. You walk up to this board, and then you pick the one in the bottom right corner, Danny Dunkman. This dude is like 4'7". I don't even know how tall he is, but he's so small, and you can just shoot over him, get easy greens every single time, and get your hot zones really easily. The next thing that you guys have to do is press start, go over to my player, then go to animations, press your right bumper over to customize HUD, and you guys are going to want to go into shot feedback and make sure your visibility is on all shots. Putting it on all shots is going to tell you your timing, your coverage, all of that right after you shoot it. Now, if you guys do want the old instant greens, you guys can put on simple. You guys can see right by my play right there, it shows excellent right after you green it, so you'll know right away. You won't have to wait for the ball to get to the rim. But with this, you're not going to know your coverage, so if you have this on, it's not going to tell you as much. I like having it on all shots. It tells you a little bit more. Also, pay attention to this because a lot of people, especially beginners, don't. If you're shooting slightly early on a lot of your shots, just hold it a little bit longer. It's pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people don't pay attention to this, and it can really help you become a better shooter. The next thing is go to the top right, shot meter shots. Make sure your visibility for shots is off. This year, this is how you turn off your shot meter. A lot of people don't know this. Well, by now they probably do because it's mid-year, but at the beginning, it was a little bit confusing because usually it's in the controller settings. If you guys turn your shot meter off, you get a boost, a huge boost to all of your shots. If you want your shot meter on, then you can do that, but that's really for like beginner. Like I'm talking day 1 beginners. If you've been playing the game for a few days even, I recommend turning this off. And then of course, if you press start and go to options, we have our controller settings. This is very important. If you are new to 2K, maybe this is the first 2K video you're watching all year, and you're just looking to get some tips, or maybe you've been playing the game all year. Shot timing profile is new and it matters a lot. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it is February now. A lot of people know about this, but if you put this on high risk, basically you have the most control over your shots going in, and basically only greens will go in unless you're rhythm shooting, but that's another, you know, story. If you put it on normal risk or low risk, basically less of your greens are going to go in, so you're going to miss more when you time your shot right. But whites can go in, aka if you mistime your shot, sometimes it'll just randomly go in. People like me and a lot of the best players in the game want the most control over our shots going in, and you know, if we time it right, we want it going in. So basically just put it on high risk, high reward. Layup timing profile, honestly, you should probably have this on normal risk or even low risk, just because with high risk on, sometimes you do miss layups because you have to really time it right. I haven't really struggled with this recently, but I know for some of the wagers I play in, they require you have it on high risk. But yeah, I mean, high risk is fine too. It's up to you guys. And then here are the rest of my controller settings, because I know some people are going to ask for this if I don't show it. So there they are. I know a lot of you guys have heard all of these shooting tips before, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but real quick, if you press start, go over to progression, then go to get boost, you guys can see I have 50 games of jump shot boost. I play every single game with jump shot boost. They really do help. I believe it's basically +5 to your shooting stats. All the best players use jump shot boost. That's pretty much all I'm going to say on it. It's a no-brainer. If you have some extra VC, make sure to buy these. And then as far as the Gatorade boost go, this is to help your stamina, which of course, if you have more stamina, you're going to make more shots. The best one to buy is the middle one, the Gatorade thirst quencher, if you are going to buy one, but they are very expensive. So I really only recommend, you know, buying these if you're playing in a big game, maybe a wager, or you're gonna play stage or something that matters a lot. Also on the right side there, you guys can see I have my additional turbo meter active because my weekly workout is complete. And in the bottom right, you guys can see the example of the extra turbo meter. Basically, when I'm in game, I have a little bit more stamina than everyone else. Now, in order to get the additional turbo meter, you guys have to go to the Gatorade training facility, which is located right here in the city. And you guys basically just have to do, I believe it is what, 4, maybe 5 workouts and get 3 stars or better. So you guys can like practice the workouts before you do them. Make sure that you know how to do them, because if you mess up, you have to wait a whole nother week. And then if you do all of the workouts, which I think takes like 3 or 4 weeks, you can get the additional thermometer permanent for the whole year, which is what I have. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the part of the video that a lot of you guys clicked on this for, and that is going to be the jump shot. If you're skipping to this part of the video, of course, make sure to click that subscribe button. I'm about to put y'all on, I'm telling you guys. But also, you know, we got to blur the dribble moves. If you guys want those, I'll put a link in the description. My dribble moves along with the dribble tutorial is in a completely other video. All right, so I'm starting off with my small guard animations, and I want to start off with some of the other animations other than the jump shot, like the go-to shot. A lot of people don't talk about this, but Ja Morant go-to shot, this is very good, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it at the end of the video. A lot of people don't utilize this enough. And the next thing is my dribble pull-up Pro 2. This is what basically I would say 95% of the best players in the game are using, Pro 2 dribble pull-up. So make sure to put this on. My spin jumper is Kyrie. If you're starter 4 rep or higher, I think that's when you unlock it. You want to put this on because it gives you a crazy spin jumper. Kyle Lowry hop dribble, that's actually for like a dribble move. It's, I don't know, if you know, you know. But yeah, those are the rest of my animations there. It is time for the first jump shot of the video, and I need you guys to listen when I'm speaking, because so many people don't listen and then they comment, Solo, this doesn't make sense, I don't see this. Just listen up. Okay, so this first jumper is going to be Patty Mills. If you've played this game, you know, at all, really, you probably have heard of this base by now. And the release 1 and release 2 is both going to be Oscar Robertson. That is the release with the highest release height, or one of them. That's also fast. It's a really good release. You could shoot over people with it. And with Patty Mills, that's basically like the fastest base for guards. But listen up, you get this at starter 4. So if you're not a starter 4 rep, which a lot of you guys probably aren't, if you're a beginner, trust me, you're not a starter 4 rep yet, you can't get this. But I'm going to show you guys the jump shot right in a second that you guys can get. But if you are a starter 4, Patty Mills with Oscar, this is a really good jumper. I have it on release fully because it is so fast, so you want to have the most time to release it. If you put it on like jump or push all the way over here, you're basically just going to be tapping it and it's going to be almost untimable. Release speed 3/4. You could also do 4/4. I be changing it up. To be honest, I actually like 4/4 more. I don't know why it was on 3/4, but go with 4/4 release. And then the blending doesn't matter because it's the same release. In order to unlock Patty Mills base though, you need an 88 midi or an 88 3-pointer. And you guys can see all the grades in the bottom right. We have an A+ release height with an A+ release speed. That combination alone just makes this the best jumper for guards, statistically speaking, because it's the fastest. You're going to shoot over people. It's hard to contest. You got the A- defensive immunity and the C- timing stability. Jumper number 2. And this is actually the jumper that I've been using. I know I was just hyping up the Patty Mills jumper. That's the best one, the Patty Mills jumper, just because of the speed and the height, the uncontestability, or whatever you want to say about that jumper. It's the best, but it is a little bit harder to time. One that's easier to time is Kevin Porter Jr. You guys can see we got release 1 Oscar Robertson, release 2 is Colin Sexton, and this is the jumper. And again, you get this at starter 4. The next jumper I got for you guys is one that anybody can get, but this is another one. You get it at starter 4. A lot of the best jumpers in the game, you do unlock at starter 4 reps. So make sure to grind, you know what I'm saying? Grind that double rep. Try to get here as fast as possible because this jumper is so smooth. It is definitely going to make you better. Kevin Porter Jr. is slower than Patty Mills. I know it has the A+ release speed in the bottom right corner, but it definitely is a little bit slower and it's just easier to time. You guys can see we got this on full release speed. We got 60% Oscar, 40% Colin Sexton on this jumper. Okay, so here we go. If you're a lower rep player, not starter 4 yet, this is the jumper that I would use. When I was a low rep player, you know, the first few weeks of the game, this is what I was using. It was base Cameron Thomas. It's a very smooth base, probably the best base for guards, especially if you're not a high rep. You guys see we have Oscar Robertson release 1, Oscar Robertson release 2 for that very high release height so we could shoot over people. You guys see the bottom right corner, we got the grades A+ release height, A+ release speed, A- defensive immunity, and a C timing stability, very similar to the Patty Mills grades. We have this on release for the visual cue, full release speed. You guys pretty much always want to go full release speed so that you can get that jumper off fast, get, you know, contested less, and the blending of course does not matter. Okay, now I have some jump shots and animations for builds that are 6'5" to 6'9", aka my lockdowns, my shooting centers, my poppers, my spot ups. I don't know what type of build you got, but for the go-to shot I have on Jalen Green, I don't ever use this, so that doesn't really matter. But dribble pull up pro 2 again, just like the small guards, make sure you have this on because this fade is just so smooth and so easy to time. I cannot lie to you guys, I am so excited to show you this jumper because this is a brand new one. This is one that I've never put in a jump shot video before, and that's because I just found it out like a few weeks ago. I've been using it in my comp pro-am games, I've been using it when I play stage. It's so fire. This is going to be base Matt Ryan. I know a lot of people know him as an NFL quarterback, but he's actually like a bench player in the NBA. So Matt Ryan base, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and release 2, actually I'm gonna go with Kyle Korver. I have another one, it's right here I believe, yeah, where we have both Oscar. This is good too, but I was missing a little bit. I was trying to find out how to tweak it perfectly to get, you know, just that perfect mix of like, now I'm greening every shot, and this is it right here. I just had to mix in a little bit of Kyle Korver. You guys can see we have full release for the visual cue, full release speed of course, 50-50 on the blending, 50 Oscar, 50 Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver kind of adds a little hitch to the jumper. Like if you use both Oscar, it's gonna feel smooth, you know, it's very high release point. Kyle Korver kind of has a lower release point, so it kind of adds a little hitch, and it's just easier to like see when you want to release it, if that makes sense. But yeah, like Matt Ryan base is a new one. Like this has never been a base in 2K before. Like no one's ever said, yo, Matt Ryan, that shit's so fire. But recently, in the last few months to weeks, this is a really good base. It's really smooth for these 6'5" to 6'9" builds, and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you try it if you have never tried it. You guys can see the grades. We got a B release height. A+ release speed is just crucial, especially for, you know, these type of builds. Usually they don't get an A+. You know, those are usually only for small guards, but that's clutch. A defensive immunity and a C timing stability. Now, if you cannot get Matt Ryan, because I think you need like a 86 at least, 3-pointer or midi to get Matt Ryan base, the one that I use on my lower 3-point builds is base Jarrett Culver. Make sure to use this. And you guys can see we have, you know, release 1 Sadiq Bey, release 2 Oscar Robertson. I have it halfway from push to release. As you guys can see, full release speed of course, 40% Bey, 60% Oscar. You guys can see the grades in the bottom right corner. A+ release height, A+ release speed, but it is not maxed out. B+ defensive immunity with a D+ timing stability. Culver's just been really good. I think I used it last year if I'm not mistaken. Just a very smooth base, and you guys can see we have a good release height with these releases. I like it a lot, but Matt Ryan is the one that I've been using lately. If you can get it, I really recommend you try it. Now, before I show you guys my shooting secrets and just some of the craziest things I've learned about the shooting this year, things that are just gonna help you green more shots, I gotta show you guys this 6'10+ jumper. I did make a 7'3" build. You guys might have seen that in a video recently. You guys can see base Jonathan Isaac. This is the best base for these tall builds. Release 1 Franz Wagner, and release 2 is PJ Washington. Now, I think in order to get this jumper, you do need an 80 midi or an 83 pointer. So if you are very tall, maybe you cannot get that. But you guys can see we're halfway from push to release. We're on 3/4 release speed. I found that I just green way more when I do this, you know, compared to putting it on 4/4. Then we also have 53% Franz, 47% PJ Washington. Now, if you cannot get this, you guys can try and tweak the releases and the blending. Actually, matter of fact, I think I do have a build with a 78 MIDI, so let me get on that and show you guys what releases I have on for that build, which cannot get the 80, of course. Okay, so this build only gets a 78, and you guys can see we have on Charles Bassey for release 2, so that's the only thing I mixed in. This one's actually full release, so I mean, that's up to you. I guess it's all personal preference. I think the other one was on halfway from push to release. 3/4 release speed. We have 59% Franz Wagner. That's going to be a really good release. So you guys see that's in both of my jumpers. Then we have Charles Bassey instead of PJ Washington, 41% on Bassey. And the grades look really good, especially the release height and release speed, which I think is probably the most important out of all the grades. So yeah, try this jumper or the other one if you can get it, if you are on some of these tall builds. Now it's time for the most important part of the video, at least in my opinion, because there's a lot of very solid jump shots. I'm sure you guys have a solid jumper on, whether it's from this video or another video, but I have a bunch of shooting secrets that, it's impossible to know these things unless you've played the game as much as I have. And before I really get into the shooting secrets, I want to show you guys where you guys want to release the ball or release your X button or whatever when you're timing your jumper, so you guys know where to release it every single time for an instant green. So I'm going to pause the video when I release it. 3, 2, 1, right there where your elbows kind of lock out. You can see right there near the top, basically almost when you're releasing the ball. That's why I use release for a lot of my jumpers, so that it's consistent. If you have it on release for visual cue, this is where you want to release it, basically right before your player releases the ball from his hands. Now, this part of the video is going to be way more chill. I might yap a little bit, but it's going to be straight info and straight knowledge. Now, a lot of you guys have probably heard of RNG. A lot of people say there's RNG in shooting, it'll make you miss. That is kind of true, but not fully. The game doesn't necessarily make you miss. I just think that it gets harder as you're making shots and as the game is progressing. Instead of it getting easier like previous years, if you make 5 shots in a row, you get takeover, you're starting to get hot, green machine's flowing, and it's rewarding you. This year, it actually kind of penalizes you. Like if you make 4 shots, they want the other team to kind of stay in the game, at least from my knowledge and my experience. So they try to make you miss. They try to make it harder, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Like you could still green every shot. It's just way harder to time it, if that makes sense. I've played in a lot of wagers. You guys might have seen I was the number one, I was on the number 1 twos team in the world at one point in time with my boy Chad. I've won basketball gods, which only 15 people in the world have won. I play stage all the time, right? I play a lot of things and I play with a lot of the best people and against a lot of the best people. So a lot of them would agree with me. And to combat this RNG, first things first, if it's like the first shot of the game, you don't really got to worry. You could dribble around, play as you normally would. There's really no RNG kicking in, right? But as you start to make shots, if you made 3 shots, obviously then you'd have heat check if you're a veteran 1. So then that shot would also be easy. But after the heat check shot, if you made 4 shots in a row, it's going to get tough. That's where the game really begins. So when you've made 4 in a row, there are some things you could do. So if you're playing with a teammate that has a very high dimer, like usually I'm playing with a center with legend dimer or Hall of Fame, or, has a really high pass accuracy, you want to try and shoot off that pass. It's very important to try and shoot catch and shoot shots, or if not a catch and shoot shot, let's say let me just shoot it and get the ball. Okay, ready? This is the catch. If not off the catch, you want to go fast and shoot like that. You know what I mean? You want to still use that dimer, because obviously catch, you have like 2 seconds to use that dimer. You could run in, get a quick fade off. That is another thing. Try to use the dimer, because that's going to be crucial. If you're not going to shoot off dimer and you're doing some of this, you made 4 shots in a row and you're doing all this, it's going to be really hard to make this shot. I'm just going to be honest. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be very, very tough. You're probably going to miss. And in my opinion, it does kind of suck. It does suck, but you got to try and be smarter and outsmart the RNG and find ways to beat it. I like the 2Ks when you can just cook someone the whole game. You know what I'm saying? You could just go crazy, cook him. He can't keep up with you. You're just frying him for, 7 straight threes. But that's just not how this game is. It's just not. So when you do make a few shots, of course, try to play smarter. Don't dribble a lot, because if you do, you're probably going to miss. The next thing I want to show you guys, because it's not used enough, if you're on a small guard with the Ja Morant go-to shot, all you have to do is hold the sprint button and then hold up on the right stick. Now, if you're just doing it like that, it's going to kind of do a slow animation to start. But hold on, let me get back here. And then let me just quickly reset this. If you do it off the catch, watch this. It goes really quick. And now I don't do that too much. I don't know what just happened, glitch very late or something. But this is actually tough. And if you've never done it before, you could do this and I bet you'd beat your opponent with like, I don't know how many buckets in a row, 10 straight of these, and they're not going to know how to guard it. All I'm doing is off the catch, you're holding the sprint button and then up on the right stick. It does this combo, which not a lot of people I feel like use enough. So like, let's say you're playing twos and you're the guy that's catching the inbound or whatever. You run up to the wing, right? Get the inbound right away. Boom, boom. You probably get a crab. Your defender's probably gonna be on your side. Easy green. Another thing I want to talk about is rhythm shooting. If you hold down the stick and then flick up, basically when it's time to release it, so you hold down, flick up when your player is about to release it, you get a boost when you're doing this. You hold down to start the jumper, flick up when you want to release it, and it's a very fast flick, so you're not holding down for too long if you've never done this before. But you guys can see on the top of the screen there are extra stats, and right there I missed, but you guys can see there's push timing, coverage, and tempo. If I just shoot with the button, you're not going to get all that. There's only going to be 2 boxes. There's going to be no tempo. Actually, there's 3 boxes. There's one on the top. But the tempo matters. You can't be too fast. You can't be too slow with your flicking of the sticks. You just got to find the right smoothness to it. And this can take a little bit of time, but if you do get it down, it is very, very worth it. I was using this for the first few months of the game being out. I was really high on this, and still, if you guys get it down, it's worth it. Trust me, it is worth it. Just, they dropped a patch like 2 months ago where I would notice that I was getting a lot of like very earlies or very fast, and just random stuff like that would be mixed in with my shots, and I didn't like it because I knew it wasn't me doing it. It was just a glitch. So I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but yeah, that's why I switched to button shooting. But if you can get rhythm shooting down and it's not glitching for you and you're getting, you know, you're timing it good, trust me, it's worth it, because you do get that boost, especially if you mix that in with the meter off. That's 2 boosts on top of each other. Oh my God. I cannot hit right now. I have not done this in a minute. I can't lie. If you're still watching, you probably became a better shooter from watching this video. So click there at subscribe button. We're about at 800K, at least when I'm recording this. So sub up before we hit 800K. And if you enjoy this video, you'll probably enjoy the video popping up your screen right now.